Zippers are the most widely used closures, from the fine invisible to the bulky industrial. Zippers can be both functional and decorative. The lapped or welt zipper covers the zipper completely. The zipper is concealed by the overlap. This type of zipper is used both in dresses as well as skirts. The only time the zipper is visible is when the zipper is opened. The slot centered or kissing zipper meets at the center of the garment. Often, when moving, the zipper may be visible. This type of zipper is found in dresses, blouses, skirts, and jackets. When used in a jacket, a separating zipper is necessary. The invisible zipper is virtually invisible. The only thing that is visible in this type of zipper is the little tag at the top. Again, when this zipper is open, one can see the zipper. The fly front zipper, used in both skirts and slacks, is a sportswear finish to a zipper. The time is now to learn how to put zippers in, and we will start with the welt zipper. An opening must be left in your fabric long enough for the zipper. One leaves an additional ½ inch beyond the tag and the stop. When your garment is stitched, the seam is pressed open. We then form a small tuck on the back half of the seam. The tuck is formed 1/8 of an inch beyond the seam line. That tuck may be formed to the bottom of your garment. The zipper is placed so it is face up, and the garment is placed so that it runs parallel to the coils. We pin the zipper in place far enough away from the coils so that the slide will move freely and not catch the garment. The tuck is included to the bottom of the zipper. The next step is basting the zipper. Small stitches are taken close to the folded edge. Room is allowed for stitching the zipper in place, and we will stitch this very close to the edge. The zipper has been basted in place, with the basting running the full length of the zipper. We're now going to stitch it. And placement on the machine is important that it be placed with the edge of the zipper foot in line with the edge of the garment. We stitch a few stitches to secure the zipper to the garment. We then slide open the zipper slide. This will prevent the presser foot from riding around the slide. When you come parallel to the slide, with the needle down, raise the presser foot and close the zipper. Continue stitching to the very, very end of the zipper. The zipper has been stitched. The next step is removing the basting, and that may be done very quickly, as you should not have stitched over your basting when you stitch the zipper in place. Remove all the basting. Do not remove your thread tracing. We are now going to place the zipper underneath the garment, so to speak. We're concealing the zipper. The tuck formed an extension to enable you to conceal the zipper. The next step is to pin thread trace to thread trace, or seam line to seam line. This will hold the zipper securely in place. We next place a row of pins parallel to the zipper on the other side. We can feel the zipper with the fingernail. When you come to the top of the zipper, remove a few of the pins that held the seam closed and slide the slide down to enable you to make sure that that zipper is straight all the way to the top of the garment. In that manner, the zipper will be an equal distance away from the folded edge all the way down. You may remove the pins that held the zipper in place. We'll now baste this zipper again. We start at the base of the zipper and come across till you clear the zipper. And we will start basting this next to the zipper, making sure when you baste that you are basting an equal distance away from the edge. The zipper has been basted, and we're ready to start sewing. We will stitch down next to the basting stitch. Once more, We start at the top of the zipper, anchor it in place, and slide your zipper down. When you come parallel to the zipper slide, hold the needle down, raise the presser foot, and continue stitching to the base of the zipper. At the base of the zipper, with the needle in, turn at right angles and stitch across, stopping one stitch past the seam line. Raise the needle up and gently remove the zipper from the machine, making sure you have a tail of thread. We will now pull this thread through to the wrong side. And we will tie a tailor's knot. Clip it off. And we remove our basting. At this point, you may have caught some of your stitches in with a basting thread. Make sure you remove all the basting. It may require you to shift your garment to the wrong side to catch all the basting, but it is essential to remove all the basting. Most lapped or welt zippers that are placed in dresses do not require a shield. That is a protection for the body from pinching by the zipper. Skirts do. And what we will do is put in a shield. A shield is a double piece of fabric folded that will be concealed under the garment, concealing the zipper and protecting the body. We will pin this to the back seam allowance. Basting is not necessary. We'll now stitch this in place. We tack at the base of the zipper and remove the garment from the machine. We have our lapped zipper with the shield in place. At this point, the garment may be finished with a waistband or some kind of neckline finish. The lapped or welt zipper. The slot or centered zipper is put in a slightly different manner. Once more, one needs an opening long enough for the zipper, from the top of the tag to the bottom of the zipper, plus seam allowance at the top of the garment to allow for placement of the zipper or neckline finish. This zipper is placed into the garment with the zipper itself open. An option in that the zipper may be placed from the back of the zipper or from the front is up to the person applying the zipper. And we start by placing the zipper coils so they are perfectly aligned with the center or fold of the seam. Pin an equal distance away from the edge. Often the zipper tape itself will have a guiding line for you to follow. When finished with one half, start at the same point on the other half. Otherwise, you may find yourself with an uneven finish at the end. Care should be taken that you do see the very edge of the garment. When the zipper has been pinned in place, you should not be able to see the teeth. And in zipping up the garment, you should find that the seam will just meet or sometimes slightly overlap. The overlapping will be compensated when you stitch and the edge moves slightly away from one another. The next step again is basting. And once more, you baste, making sure that you are an equal distance away from the edge. Do not come in too close. If you come in too close, the slide will not work. The zipper has been basted in place. We've basted an even distance away on both sides and across the base. We're now ready to stitch. It is advisable to try to avoid stitching directly on the basting stitches. And once more, we start stitching. Well, it happens to all of us. My needle became undone, and we will thread it. We stitch down to the base of the zipper with the needle down, swing around and across to the other side. The zipper has been stitched in place, and we remove our basting. Care should be taken to remove all basting stitches. We test the zipper to make sure we have not caught anything. Slide it closed. And if this is a skirt zipper placement, a shield is stitched in place. The slot zipper. The invisible zipper is an entirely different type of zipper. The placement, the action of the zipper, the treatment of the zipper has to be very different from any other zipper. First of all, we generally put the zipper into the garment with the entire seam open. If you wish to place it into a garment with some of the seam closed, make sure that you have at least 4 inches more to the length of your zipper. That is, the garment, the length of the zipper, plus 4 inches. The zipper itself is completely concealed. The only time you know and can see the zipper coils is when the zipper is opened. In order to place the zipper into the garment effectively, one must press the zipper flat. Have the zipper face down on the ironing board, roll the teeth over or the coils over, and press it. Care should be taken that the iron does not touch the coils. If this is not done, the zipper will not place itself into the machine correctly. We have our zipper pressed. Placement is very tricky, so we have to watch carefully. Taking the right side of the fabric and the right side of the zipper, we place the zipper so the coils are just biting the thread trace line in the seam allowance area only. We pin that in place. You will see that your coils are laying over to one side. We pin it to secure the zipper before basting. When you become skilled in placing the invisible zipper into a seam, you will find that you do not even have to pin it. We have pinned it to one side of the garment. We now have to pin it to the other side. So, tucking under the garment, so just the little bit of zipper shows, we very carefully reverse the procedure. Care must be taken because at this point, often a student without realizing twists the zipper. You may end up by putting the zipper in correctly, but indeed what you've done was twisted it. So we've got to place it in the same direction, or actually an opposite direction, but placement is the same method against the other seam. We pin it in place. care should be taken that at no time after pressing the zipper that you experiment by zipping it closed, because that will return the coils to their former position and you'll have to go through the whole process again. Once you're in position, you can check, and if it's laying with the zipper tag up and there has been no twisting at this spot, you're fine. We now bring it to the wrong side and we will baste it. You baste as close to the coils as you can possibly go. This is one zipper that is stitched and basted very close to the coils. You can see that by the thread tracing. Our zipper is basted in place. The basting stitches are very close to the thread trace line on both sides. We do not have to worry about the seam being opened. We're ready to sew. But before sewing, we must place a different type of foot on the machine. The foot is the invisible zipper foot. There are many stems to this foot so that you can always find the proper length that will fit on your sewing machine. You remove your presser foot. You place the stem onto the machine. Sometimes it's a little bit stiff. You slide the base of the foot into place, and then you test it. You test to see that the fabric will not shift under the machine. If that's working okay, then you tighten the screw, but very, very tight. Sometimes you're so successful in tightening, you cannot loosen it. Now, we try the presser foot by making sure that the needle will fall right in the center. Now, this presser foot has a unique formation. It has two small tunnels. You can see them. That enables the presser foot to encompass the zipper and move freely along the zipper and stitch the zipper in place. We'll start that now. Take a few stitches to bring your thread underneath the presser foot. And test the stitch. Fine. We'll now start stitching this half of the zipper. And we will slide the zipper foot under that side. When you come to the top stop, you may have to lift very gently to enable that stop to slide in under the foot, and then continue stitching. As you can see, the zipper is being stitched very close You must not catch the coils of the zipper. If you catch the coils, you are going to find that you will not be able to use the zipper. When we come to the base, you may tack that or just gently remove the thread. You cannot sew any further because the stop has stopped the zipper foot. We're ready to go on to the next side of the zipper. This time, we reverse the procedure, placing the zipper under the left-hand side. It doesn't really matter which side you start with. You can start with the left as opposed to the right, just as long as you reverse your procedure. And we continue to stitch. Once more, when we come to the end, we remove it. We have already removed the basting, and we have our zipper very neatly stitched into place. Your stitches are parallel to your thread tracing. At this point, let's try the zipper. Does it work or doesn't it? Will it be concealed or won't it? Well, that's a pretty good job. The zipper is concealed. The next step is to close the seam. And that will involve a slightly different presser foot. We'll now move on to the cording foot. Remove your presser foot and replace it with a cording foot. The reason for the cording foot is that you can get much closer to the top of the seam where you have to stitch the zipper closed, or actually the garment closed. We now return to our garment, and positioning the garment to enable you to stitch the remaining part of the seam closed is not too difficult. We just must pin away the zipper to expose the end of the seam. We then bring the edges of the seam together and pin them closed. We slide the garment under the machine to get that cording foot as close to the base of the zipper as possible. You will find that you really can't start this stitching exactly where you ended the previous stitching. That leaves approximately ½ inch of garment unstitched. Occasionally, one can take, we remove all our pins, of course. Occasionally, one can take that little bit of thread and hand stitch it from this point to this point. But most of the time, the manufacturer does not bother because it is such a slight gap that it is not at all bothersome. The invisible zipper. The fly front zipper looks more complicated, but really isn't. Just a little patience and time will put in a beautiful fly front zipper. We first have our various pattern pieces: the right front, the left front, the facing, the fly facing, and the fly shield. We prepare the fly shield for inserting by stitching across the bottom and turning it inside out and pressing it. We'll put that to one side because we won't need the fly shield till almost the final part of the zipper. The facing is the first thing that is inserted. We bring right side to right side and stitch using approximately 1/4 inch seam allowance. When this is stitched in place, we take the fly facing, crease it, and turn it to the inside. It now is a facing. The next step is joining your two pieces of garment together. Right sides together, with the fly facing extending. We stitch from the edge of the garment to just where the facing joins the garment. We press open the seam from the fly facing down, and we start by placing the zipper to the back or under seam. We form a tuck from the top of the garment to the base, approximately 1/8 of an inch. And we pin this an equal distance away from the coils or the teeth. Frequently, a special type of zipper is used when inserting a fly zipper into the fly front closing. This type of zipper has an automatic lock, so it will not slide open. We pin this to the zipper, the length of the zipper, making sure you maintain your little tuck or extension. We will base this close to the zipper, once more maintaining an even distance away from the zipper so that it will not get caught in the slide. With our zipper basted, we're ready to stitch. With a zipper foot on the machine, we test our stitches and we stitch very close to the edge. Stitch to the very end of the zipper. Remove your basting and we're ready to go on to the next step, which is placing the zipper to the facing of the garment as opposed to the face. You take the garment, flip the facing over the zipper, and line up your thread tracing. Pin your thread trace lines together. Then, holding that facing in place, turn it over to the right side, or what is really the inside, and pin the zipper to the facing. We'll now baste this into place. Baste the entire length of the zipper. You're going to be partially stitched to the seam allowance of the garment at this point. With the facing and the zipper basted together, we're going to stitch it. We stitch with the zipper face down so that you can see the zipper tape and the facing at the same time. Follow your basting stitch and stitch it into place. We remove our basting. And now we're going to stitch the facing to the garment. In order to do that, sometimes you get a very stubborn knot that doesn't want to come out. In order to do that, you just fold over the facing so it will close the garment beautifully. Fold it over and pin it. And you may pin from the wrong side, because this will show you how to pin an equal distance away from the edge of the facing. Approximately 3/8 of an inch seam allowance will be sufficient. All right, let's trim away this little bit of yarn. We've pinned it from the back, and you can see the form the fly is going to take by the pins. We now will baste. This time we'll start from the bottom of the zipper. You start in what would be perhaps 2 stitches past the seam line and baste following the curve of the garment, of the pins that will give you that nice curve that you find on the fly front zipper. The zipper is basted. At this point, you can even try your zipper. It works, and it feels comfortable. We'll stitch it in place, carefully following your basting stitches. Once more, try not to stitch on top of the basting. Past the seam line, and we may tack this. There is generally some kind of tacking that takes place at the end of a fly front zipper. Raise the presser foot, remove the stitches, stitching thread, clip your thread, remove the basting. All right, when we finish this part, the face of the garment is complete. But remember the fly shield. That has to be put into position. And the fly shield is placed to the under part of the zipper. That is, when the zipper is open and this is turned away, your fly shield is in place. So we close this, and we take this, and we place it against the outline of the facing and the edge of the seam. We pin, but this time we also baste, because this time we want to baste very close to the zipper tape, because we want to anchor the fly shield to the tape. And here we go again, our basting. With our fly shield basted into place, we're ready to stitch. We are going to stitch 2 rows of stitching this time. One to the edge of the seam and one that will catch the tape on the zipper. Stitch along the edge of the seam, the length of the zipper. The second row will go right on the tape. As close to the seam as you can get. We finish stitching the zipper. Remove it from the machine. And we have our fly front zipper with the shield in place. The fly front zipper.